we are finally going to be insulating our van.
We are using Thinsulate and Easy Cool to insulate our van, so let's get started.
Let's go. For our installation process, we have quite a bit of supplies that we need. First, obviously, our 3M Thinsulate. We have Easy Cool, pair of gloves, 2 tape measures, some scissors. Hopefully our scissors work to cut the Thinsulate because they say you need some heavy-duty scissors. These are just one that we found at James' parents' house. So fingers crossed that they work. We also have our 3M 90 high-strength adhesive that we will use spray onto the Thinsulate as well as the wall to get it to stick. Then, because we will be spraying inside of the van, safety first. So we bought ourselves some respiratory mask, and then since I'll be spraying outside, I just have a simple dust mask.
We won't be needing our Easy Cool in the beginning. Our main insulation is going to be our 3M. We'll make our window covers out of this, and we'll also cover any thermal bridges using this. And then we're also going to use this to cover any places that we can't put Thinsulate on top of the metal.
So insulation is a very controversial topic, and there are so many different options that you can choose from when it comes to insulating your van. We are not going to get into all of that. We just know you want the most R value for insulation, and this gives us a pretty high R value, and using the Easy Cool will just help it even more. The Thinsulate comes in a tight roll and it is all compressed, so it starts off being a very thin piece of insulation. However, over time it's going to expand a little bit over 2 inches. So hopefully with it being compressed, it's going to make it easier to cut. Let's get this opened up. See if these scissors work. Oh boy.
Is it pretty hard?
It's pretty thick, yeah. I mean, follow the line, kids. The first cut piece. Now let's see if it fits.
Yeah.
All right. I think it fits.
Next one.
Next one. That's good. That took us 15 minutes to do that one piece. It's going to be a long day. We have one panel, one section of the van cut. Our plan is, so you can see that we have these ribs kind of uncovered. We will stuff insulation in here, the 3M, and then put on top our Easy Cool. Same with kind of this ridge. That is kind of our rough plan for now. Now time to get the back of the van.
Back of the van.
So far, it has taken us just a little over an hour to do the spots that we've done. And I will say we are pretty good at using our scrap pieces. Like, we do have a few, like, tiny pieces that we're probably not going to be able to use. But any small piece like this, we did use any of these type of scrap pieces to fit in this little area around our windows, as well as up here.
We've gotten a couple of panels. We're kind of just all over the place right now. We kind of focused on the biggest panels first, and now we're moving on to the ceiling because the ceiling is probably the most important part to have insulated. One thing we forgot to mention is to probably have a straight edge because you want all of your lines to be straight, and it makes it really easy. So we've been dotting our lines like that so we have a clear visual when we're cutting. We're just using this leftover piece of wood that I had cut for the van frames, and it's working out good.
So the piece that we cut this morning has already expanded and is pretty thick. James says it's about 2 inches compared to where it starts off at. It's a pretty big expansion.
We are finishing up for today, and as you can see, we've gotten a lot finished, but we still have definitely some more to go. We actually went through and measured all of these empty spaces and kind of blocked out sections on what Thinsulate we have left. And we figured that we have enough to fill all of the major spaces, but we do not have enough to fill any of these small gaps anywhere.
I think we made pretty good progress. Like, this is a major change than what we had this morning. In total, we worked, it's about 5 o'clock, an hour this morning, and 4 hours worth of work just cutting this bit out. Whew, here goes another 4 hours and more tomorrow.
We are back inside the van today. We are going to be finishing up all of the empty panels that we did not cut yesterday. And we already know that we're going to need more insulation, so we will be ordering that insulation. And then when the insulation comes, we can finish all the parts that we don't have finished. Our first roll was 30 feet long, and we're buying a second roll that will be 20 feet long. That way we can do all the parts that we wanted. So in total, we have bought 50 feet of 3M Thinsulate, and we think that is the perfect amount for us to fully insulate our 159-inch Ram ProMaster.
So when we were cleaning out the van, we went ahead and took out all of these triangle caps that were all along the bottom of the van so we could clean it out. We didn't know what they were for, so we kept them. And through our research, we figured out that is actually a drainage system of some sort, so it serves a purpose. So I'm going to put all of these triangles back into the flooring, and then we will insulate on top of the covers. That way, it's still insulated on the bottom, but it's not taking away the purpose of the crevice. One in. A lot more to go. We are back at the van today, and we are blessed with 3 days of good weather, above 70 degrees, so we're trying to get as much as we can done before another cold front comes in. Gotta love the Midwest winter. So how we've prepared is we've remade another floor template. It's not perfect, and we just filled all the gaps with some painter's tape. We've already gotten rid of our original floor template that we made because we cut while it was in the van, so it had metal shards, and since we've already glued our floor down, we don't want to risk any of that. We've also bagged up our front so that way no glue can get into the front of the van.
We are all geared up to start spraying our 3M90 spray to put our insulation on. I have a respirator and some safety glasses, and Kelly is going to be spraying outside, so she also has a mask and some safety glasses.
We went ahead and opened up all of our windows and our fans. We would open our side door, but it is extremely windy today, so that would actually be not beneficial for us. So we just are going to keep the back doors open. We're going to get to spraying. Insulation! Looks like it's pretty sticky.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere, is it?
No.
Woo! One piece done.
Piece done. Boom. Turtle.
Turkey.
The adhesive spray comes out kind of like spider webs onto the thing. It's kind of cool looking, but you just need to wait about a minute for it to become tacky. That way when you stick them together, they'll stay. We have just finished one wall. We have done every like main surface, main open space. Thinsulate not only is an insulator, but it's also a sound deadener.
You can already tell a huge difference.
So like now that we have this in fact, even when we had all of these just taped in, you could hear the sound difference. There's no echo in the van.
This side of the wall took us about 30 minutes to complete. I was fighting the wind a lot and everything kept blowing away, which definitely added a little bit of time, but I've moved inside to spray my part. Now, to tackle this side.
As we're taking off all of our Thinsulate to get it ready to glue, we will say that if you're going to use tape, try not to get the tape anywhere near the white stuff because it just pulls off chunks of it as you take it off. We haven't had any major issues yet, but we should have been more careful. For the wheel well, we cut it kind of like this so that part of the Thinsulate can go behind this crevice. So when we glue in parts like this, I'm just putting glue kind of on the open areas. And then for the crevices, we'll just push it in and the crevice will keep it in. And over here, the glue will keep it on the wall. So I don't put glue all the way into the crevice because then it would stick to it and you wouldn't be able to push it in.
While James has been busy working on the running board, I was making sure to get the passenger side done, all of the crevices filled in with insulation. The whole passenger side now, I've been working on the driver's side. The whole driver's side now is insulated beside where shore power and the wheel well go. We'll do that later. Our passenger side wall has been done. We just now have the doors. And right above the cab, and we will be done with putting in our and the ceiling. After that, we'll be done with our 3M insulation. That means we can get to framing, and then we'll put the Easy Cool on top of our framing.
For these spaces back here, we're just loosely putting Thinsulate into them. They're really cramped, so the Thinsulate is really just kind of held in there pretty well. And another reason why we don't want to glue any of the Thinsulate into these cavities is because of all the cords that are in them. We need to make sure that we have access to them in case any of our lights go out or we have any problems. We're able to take out the Thinsulate and fix the wires, change our brake lights, and all of that stuff. We're filling up the ribs with our Thinsulate, and it's pretty difficult. I would suggest trying to use like a long wire that you could string all the way through and then tie to the Thinsulate and then pull it through. But we don't have that, so I am using the nice flathead and push method where I just push it in, and then wherever it's at in the rib, I use the flathead to steer it, to keep steering it down, make sure it doesn't bunch up anywhere. And takes about 5 minutes a rib, if not a little bit more. This first one took a little while, a learning process, but I'm getting pretty fast at it now.
Rib complete, and then our ceiling will be finished. It definitely works out your upper arms to do this, but pretty excited because once this is done, We are almost complete with insulation. That means we'll have the ceiling done, and then we just have the doors left. I see the light at the end of this tunnel. Pretty excited.
For this last bit of insulation, we are insulating right above the front cabin. We just cut a 30 by 60 sheet to kind of stuff up there. We're not going to glue this one up there because we actually need to be able to access it for all of our front lights, our roof light. So we're just going to put this up, and then we will put this back up here, but there'll be a piece of wood that'll go along because we want to turn this into a kind of like a storage drawer area. So we have found out that there's little squares of foam on each side, about 10 to 15 inches from the side. So we went ahead and just cut our sheet into a T, and we're gonna try again putting it in there. One. We took these styrofoam pieces out earlier, and now we're just gonna put them back in. They kind of just fill the void right here, so stuff won't fall off into the side. And it also protects the airbag that's right in this rib right here. So I think it's a good idea to keep these. They're pretty difficult to get back in now, but with some force.
There are a lot of different ways to insulate the wheel wells of your van. It all depends on what you want to do and what you think is going to be the easiest. What we have decided that we are going to do is measure out the length and the width, give it a little bit of extra room because it is a curve, and you know, curves, if you flatten them out, will make it longer. So just to make sure we have enough, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. These little clamps, they're just super plastic clamps that we had in one of our toolboxes. It's not anything fancy.
To make sure your insulation stays while you cut and glue the insulation over your wheel well, you're going to use clamps to hold the insulation at the top. You'll then cut the insulation at the point where the wheel well will start to curve. Just imagine wrapping a present. That's the best way I can describe it. Then you'll glue the outer pieces to the wheel well. You'll then fold the top piece over the sides and glue it just like that.
So I went ahead and covered, I put some adhesive on the ends of these Thinsulates in here. So that way when I drag it down, it'll get nice. Inside. Now I'm going to release the clamps. So I'm just going to come in this at the top, kind of like spray under here, put them on the Thinsulate. Oh, it's hot. First wheel well is done. Now I'm going to repeat the process on the second one. I've cut this piece a lot longer, so I have 3 feet instead of the 2 feet. I know it's going to be too much, but it's always better to have too much and too little, like I just learned. Now time to gear up. So you need to wear gloves. Now that I have the whole front glued down as well as shoving it back here, I'm going to cut off this excess at the top. So what I've done is I've shoved as much of the insulation down as possible into this crevice over here. so it is nice and snug. So as you are insulating, make sure you don't forget to do your doors, because this is also a big place where a lot of the heat and the cool is going to come in and through. Already gotten all the big pieces. I've shoved some leftover scraps into these two holes. I didn't go very far, push them in too far, just because that is where the latch is for the door, and the mechanism to open it is in this side. So I just loosely put them in there. That should be all right. Now I'm just going to fill in these gaps right in here and right down here. I've cut myself so many times because I don't wear gloves and I'm trying to put insulation in these places. And then I tell myself, don't forget to wear gloves. And then I forget them. So here's a reminder. Make sure to wear your gloves as you are putting these pieces in. We're going to get a lot of tiny metal cuts, and it is not fun at all. We are not insulating the bottom part. I said it earlier in the drainage holes kind of along the cab, but it's the same thing for your door. So we're kind of stopping right at this lower lip right here and then not putting any insulation down there. But we do plan to create a nice cover over this whole entire wall just to make it a little prettier, which will also have some insulation on the back of that. This has been such a big project. Like, holy cow. The video's only gonna be like, what, 10 minutes? And this took us a solid 2 weeks to do this project. We also mean we weren't doing just insulation all the time. We were doing other projects, but still. It's time for the final draw. Oh wait, I did this already. Cool, I did that. Let's see for this. Oh, dope. I've already done that part. That means I'm done! Woo! Everyone give us a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Our van is insulated! It's only insulated, though, with the 3M. We still have our Easy Cool to go in, which we will do after we do the framing, because the plan is put the framing up, put the Easy Cool on top of it, to create a thermal barrier. But holy cow, the task is done. Yes. Our insulation is complete. We even got the cardboard out, so our floor's back. It looks so great.
Our van is now fully insulated with Thinsulate, and this is all we have left. We ended up having to buy more Thinsulate about halfway through and ended up using a total of 60 linear feet to insulate our entire van.
The project took us about 2 weeks to do, but we could have easily done it within 3 days if we weren't working on other projects, like our running board or our roof rack up on the top of our van. And you can check out all of our Van Build series on our YouTube channel.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to check out our entire Van Build series.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
See ya!